And I think I was discussing with him whole this issue of secularism. I'll begin with two things. One is, of course, I know that 2019, when this Prime Minister returned to power, I hope you understand that this Prime Minister. You know what is the statement he said? We have brought the country to a state, to a particular type of a situation, where during 2019 election, no party uttered the word secularism. So what is their success? That people do not talk about secularism. So it is in this context that I congratulate Sundaraya Vigyan Kendra for using the word secularism, and this is something which we have to preserve, fight for, because secularism is not a word, it's a value. It's a other side of democracy. Please note, democracy and secularism are two parts of the same coin. Second thing, I'll say right in the beginning, that the very values of our constitution or any democratic revolution, that is liberty, equality, fraternity, they are rooted in the word secularism. So when your Prime Minister, our also, says that it is a success for them that people did not use the word secularism, actually it is a frightening prospect. It's a frightening prospect how the other of secularism is communalism. Communalism, as such, of course, communalism word has been used in the global scenario in various ways. There is some good way also. Communal word has a very positive meaning, that you are doing something positive for the community. There is COVID in the society. You are working to alleviate the suffering of the COVID patients, COVID people, COVID families. That is communalism. But this is word unfortunately restricted only in the, this is a luxury enjoyed only by the European countries. In our countries, South Asian countries, word communalism is a negative word. Negative word in the sense where religion is used. Religion is not lived. You can really live religion as a very secular person. We have excellent examples in the form of Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Mahatma Gandhi, who lived their religion while being fully secular. But the other side, some people have used religion to mobilize people for their political power. Now this is a difficult sentence, I know. Even I took long time to understand what does it mean, using religion to mobilize people for their political goals. And simple example, of course, that's what we have been suffering. Right in the beginning, I'll say 2 or 3 issues you may be remembering. Of course, here one thing is there. Partly I feel relaxed in southern part of the India, because this communalism doesn't have that intense danger which North India, which can be called cow belt. Of course, we'll come to cow also, how they are using cow for their communal goals. Cow has been used very, very brilliantly, I must say. For some people it's a food, but for them it is a politics. Using cow as a food is, I think, less dangerous than using cow as a for politics. That's my understanding anyway. So in the whole cow belt, this issue is, these communal issues have been intensified, have been used to polarize the communities along religious lines, to create hatred against minorities. Before partition, communalism was equal and opposite on both sides. There was Muslim communalism, killing Hindus. Hindu communalism, killing Muslims. Now it is a sort of a one-sided offensive. And that you can see one school teacher who's supposed to mold you into a good human being, She makes a Muslim student stand and call every other student that you beat him, he's a Muslim, he has not done his homework. Shame, this can't be. I mean, every time I describe this thing, something bleeds inside my heart. Now I am a Muslim, I'm traveling in a train. Society is supposed to give me a protection in the form of Railway Protection Force. But there is a person in the Railway Protection Force, Chetan Singh. He moves in the train. He searches who's a Muslim. I have 8 bullets, number 1, number 2, number 3. He kills them only because of Muslim identity. Look at the third communal mobilization, that cow I said. Cow will be coming into my this thing because of course one way I love cow as a because cow milk is so good. Cow ghee also they said is better. No? I don't know much, but but cow how they have used in Mewat. In Mewat they killed 2 Muslims, one Monu Manesar. Sorry, this thing. One Monu Manesar killed 2 Muslim youth because they were carrying cattle. And how did they kill? Can you believe the horrid nature of killing? Inside the jeep, inside the car, they trapped them and they burned the car. He is absconding from last 8 months. And then he comes back because there is some religious procession to take place. Now, religious procession, religion, we know that so many definitions. Religion is also a opium of the masses. Sitting in this hall, I can say that also. But there is the other side of that also. Religion is also a sigh of oppressed in this heartless world. So there is a religious procession, and that religious procession is not used for spirituality. What is it used for? It is that religious procession of offering holy water to Lord Shiva. Of course, not on the moon. Moon also now there is Lord Shiva, fortunately. So that holy water is to be offered to Lord Shiva, and the norm of the religious procession is that you carry spirituality, holiness in your heart. That was the thing which I learned in my childhood. But now what is the new norm? That you carry hate. You carry hate against Muslims. You carry guns. You carry sword. You go deliberately in the Muslim majority area. You give the provocative slogans so that violence takes place. This is what has happened to secular values during last 70 years. So as I was talking to our friend, comrade, and he told me some of the things which I have been repeating like a parrot over and over again. Number 1, communalism is a modern phenomenon. Communalism, mobilizing people in the name of religion's identity. Religion, again, very profound thing. All of us are philosophers of religion. There are as many definitions of religion as many people are sitting in the hall. But I will summarize it in one word. On one side, there is a morality of religion. On the other side, there is an identity of religion. When I talk of morality, I talk of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam in the real sense. I talk of love thy neighbor from Christian this thing. Of course, funnily what happens, you are all mature people here. When I say love thy neighbor, no problem, no ripples of laughter. But when I talk to teenagers, from Christian mythology, you will believe, you come to know, love thy neighbor. So all the teenagers feel very happy. I said, no problem, you can feel happy about that particular interpretation also. Then I learned from Islam that a person whose neighbor lives on empty stomach, a person whose neighbor is hungry, for that person the gates of Jannat will never open. And of course, here then again I try to compare Muslims generally. Where do Muslims go after death? Jannat, na? And where do Hindus go? Where do Hindus go? Swarga, yeah, I was missing the word. And where do Christians go? Heaven. These are all 3 different places, or they are the same? I don't know. Anyway, I'm glad that we are clear about visa, passport after death. before death, during our life, what happens to visa part 4, I don't know. Anyway, so this is what I call as morality of religions. And on the other side, there is a identity related to religion. So there is a temple, there is a mosque, there is a Lord Gautam Buddha statues, there is a mosque, there is a synagogue, there is a holy book. Now, holy book is very interesting. Holy book, when you ask people, every people will swear by their holy book. Oh, my holy book, Gita. Of course, Hindus have plethora of Hindi books, holy books. Gita, Upanishad, the Puran, Vishnu Puran, Bhagavad Puran, and the infinite number. Muslims have only one, Christians have only one, Sikhism, Granth Sahib. Everybody calls their books as holy books. And if somebody insults their holy book, they are willing to kill each other. But what is inside the book, hardly anybody will know. So this is and second thing is, of course, holy is good because it is directly the word of Lord Almighty. Even Lord Almighty are also very different, no? God on one side, Ishwar on other side, Allah on other side, etc., etc. I don't know whether they meet each other and talk about communal harmony on the earth. I think whether we meet in Sundaraya Hall or not, but it is very important that they meet there and try to establish some sanity in the followers of their religion. So, religion's morality, religion's identity. I just feel like saying that maybe India has a glorious tradition of sant. When I talk of sant, I have to be very careful. I am talking of saints only of medieval times. Kabir, Tukaram, Namdev, Narsi Mehta, Basavanna. One must be, you can add a word from Telugu saint, Nizamuddin Auliya, Khwaja, Chishti and all that. Why I am careful about this? Because currently also there are many saints. They call themselves saints. And they are the richest of the people. Poor Kabir had no extra income. So he used to say, I am happy with 2 times meal and 2 clothes on my body. Now these current saints, not only that, they have plenty of wealth. And what other things do? Some of them land up in jails also. Actually, all of them deserve to be there. That is another thing. So this, I'm not talking of these saints. I'm talking of medieval period saints who constructed, who propagated morality of religions. And that was there also a way of protest. When Karl Marx says that it is a sigh of oppression of the poor people, that's where I see the saint tradition. Saint tradition was never close to power. Actually, it was a protest against the power of the landlord and the kings. So first point is that this medieval society we see, there was of course, there was a Hindu king, there was a Muslim king, and this is a central point around which communalism got started, constructed in India. Not only India, South Asia, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Hindu king, Muslim king, and all this, they started coming. But I was discussing with my friend and we really realized that communalism was not a phenomenon at that time. Power transfer that time was taken by fights with sword within the royal families. It was not that only Aurangzeb killed his brothers to come to power. He is given an example, Muslims so bad, Aurangzeb, he killed his brother to come to power. But we forget that one of the best emperors of India, Lord Ashoka, is Emperor Ashoka. He killed so many of his cousins to come to power because that was a norm. That either you go to the throne or you get thrown out. So this was something which was happening. So kingdoms were a period where exploitation of peasantry to the utmost was there. But kings were not ruling for religion for God's sake. Even an atheist has to say for God's sake to make the thing simply understandable. Kings were not ruling for religion, full stop. 2 examples I'll give. And there, this... we were talking of BJP government. BJP will come in my discourse quite often. Once what happened, unfortunately, BJP government came to power in Rajasthan. And in Rajasthan, when they came to power, they changed the textbooks. These is also you should be worried how the books are changing and how they are being communalized, Hindu versus Muslim. So that Rajasthan government, the education minister saw that in his school books there is a description of battle between Akbar and Rana Pratap, in which Akbar won, Rana Pratap lost. But for a Hindu nationalist, how can a Hindu king lose? Simple logic. So he made his own history that in the battle of Haldighati, Akbar lost the battle, Rana Pratap won the battle. I said, no problem. It doesn't affect me. Whosoever wins is their problem. It doesn't affect me. But what affects me is if you show this battle as a battle between Hindus and Muslims. So I can explain to him, Haldighati, Rajasthan, battle between Akbar on one side, Rana Pratap on the other. And when you see Akbar's army ready to battle, Akbar himself is not there. Hello. Akbar himself is not there. Those of us who have been in the grill of services, we know that if you have to take leave, you have to put casual leave, or you have to give a fake medical certificate, etc. But kings have no such problem. He is not there. So who is leading the army? The army is being led by Raja Man Singh. Raja Man Singh. So please answer me. Akbar's army has only Muslim soldiers or Hindu and Muslim both? Both, correct? Now I come to Maharana Pratap. I used to say Rana Pratap, but people objected, hello, because now he is also being presented as a symbol of Hindu nationalism. Can kings be the symbol of nationalism? They are kings. They are part of kingdoms. But currently, of course, anything goes. So Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, my friend was telling me, we are erecting statues of Shivaji Maharaj because he's a new symbol of Hindu nationalism. I'll come to Shivaji Maharaj also because in Telugu, Comrade Govind Pansar's brilliant book, Who Was Shivaji, has also come. Anyway, back to Haldighati. Other side, Maharana Pratap. Maharana Pratap himself is leading the battle on his horse called Chetak. Chetak I reminded because Bajaj gave his scooter the name Chetak so that we identify the speed and things and all that. Chetak. And Rana Pratap had two generals. One was Ram Singh and second was Hakim Khan Sur. 3,000 soldiers, 2,000 under Ram Singh, 1,000 under Hakim Khan Sur. So question is, Rana Pratap's soldiers are only Hindus or Hindu-Muslim both? Both. Both side Hindus are there? Yes, no. Both side Muslims are there? So is it a battle between Hindu Muslims or is it a battle between two kings? Two kings. Is it a battle for religion or for power? Power. So I could explain to him and I said, okay, you can make all the Hindu kings win against Muslims. I have absolutely no problem. But the battle was never for religion. Battle was always for power. And then Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the second great symbol of Hindu nationalism being promoted from Nagpur. Nagpur, I hope you understand. Okay. So Shivaji Maharaj. And here I'm generally fond of making it onto a story because at one time I wanted to become a story writer. I failed. So I came into this sort of a propagating things. So I make a story out of that. You know, when Shivaji Maharaj's father was not a king. He did not inherit a kingdom. He made his own kingdom, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. We have to spell fully, otherwise your fate is not good once you leave the hall. Okay, so Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, he was making his kingdom. And when he was making his kingdom, his first battle, please note, first battle was against a king called Chandra Rao More. Hindu or Muslim? Hindu, okay. So when he's expanding, there are two other emperors or kings who are getting disturbed. One is a Nawab of Bijapur, Adil Shahi. Another is Aurangzeb from there. So Adil Shah Nawab sends his general called Afzal Khan. Can you get something in the name? Khan. My name is, not my name, but my name is Khan. Okay. So Afzal Khan. And Afzal Khan comes to Shivaji and says, okay, why battle, man? Let's negotiate. This was a trap. Let's negotiate. Shivaji Maharaj said, okay, we will negotiate. So Afzal Khan said, you come to my tent, but don't bring any armaments with you, because we are going to negotiate, so why have armaments? Shivaji said, okay, no problem, I'll come. He was going. When he was going, his bodyguard, Shivaji's bodyguard, stopped him. Sir, where are you going? Shivaji says, I am going to meet Afzal Khan. Sir, where is your sword? He says, we have a condition that wherever we meet, we will not be carrying any armaments. Bodyguard says, sir, not allowed. I am your bodyguard, please get down. Shivaji Maharaj gets down. Okay. So he asks, sir, what is your height? Shivaji Maharaj says, 5 feet 6 inches. What is the height of Afzal Khan? 6 feet plus or 6 feet minus? What do you think? 6 feet plus. And what is your body size? I hope you can guess my body size. So what is Shivaji Maharaj's body size? Medium. Of course, this can be answered more simply. If you have to gift a ready-made shirt to Shivaji Maharaj, what size shirt you will choose? Medium. Very good. Thank you very much. And if you have unfortunately to give a ready-made shirt to balance to Afzal Khan, what type of shirt you will give? Triple XL. And if bigger is available, all the better. Right? So he said, Maharaj, your size is medium, he is extra large, your height is this, he is extra tall. So if he meets you, he can just embrace you and kill you by throttling you. Don't be a simpleton. Take this secret weapon with you, iron claws. And the name of this bodyguard was Rustam-e-Jaman. Rustam-e-Jaman. Shivaji Maharaj had 18 bodyguards, 12 of them were Muslims. His chief advisor was Maulana Hyder Ali. Shivaji's army had many Muslim soldiers, Siddhi Sammal, Ibrahim Gardi, Daulat Khan, etc., which is given in the book by this Govind Pansari. Okay, so Shivaji, then of course some more things about Shivaji I'll tell you, Hindu versus Muslim, because in Maharashtra he is being presented as an anti-Muslim king. I myself, with my family, in my happier times when I was not much worried about communalism is growing and all that, so with my family I had gone to a place called Mahabaleshwar. Mahabaleshwar is very close to a place called Raigad, where Shivaji Maharaj's fort is there. So we were just having a picnic going there. We went there to Raigad fort. First we saw that there is a temple, Lord Jagdishwar's temple, Bhagwan Jagdishwar Bhagwan ka mandir. We went there, took the prasad. No harm taking prasad. Always it is good and sweet generally. Currently I can't take prasad because of diabetes. That is a different matter. But we took the prasad. And after that, as we left, we went out and saw that near to the temple there is also a mosque. And I was shocked, because I had all that mind that Shivaji, anti-Muslim, he put Muslims in their place and all that. And here in his fort there is a mosque. And there I came to know Shivaji Maharaj had thought that in your subjects there are Hindus, there are Muslims, and if Muslims comes to meet you, where will they offer their prayers? So there is a mosque also. Of course, currently in the name of Shivaji, that nationalism is being brought, and the list of mosques is also being made. One mosque gone, second on line, third in queue, fourth to be searched, like that. So that was Shivaji. So Shivaji took that advice and took that iron claws, hid it under his what is called rings. Kings had always good amount of rings in their fingers and all that. Don't go by my hand, which is empty of gold. So he put that, he hid it under his rings, and he went to Afzal Khan. As he went to near the tent, Afzal Khan saw him, came out, charged on Shivaji, shouting, Shiva, Shiva, and went and tried to throttle him. Shivaji brought out his iron claws, put it in his stomach. He gets affected, he gets injured, he falls down. He's dying. And as he's dying, Afzal Khan's secretary, most trusted secretary, comes out, takes out his sword and tries to kill Shivaji. The name of this secretary is Krishnaji Bhaskar Kulkarni. Communalism is over. Here there is Rustam-e-Jaman, here there is a Krishnaji Bhaskar Kulkarni. And Shiva is, of course, I can't resist one more story, and that is also related to our Prime Minister. Generally, last 2014 elections, he came to Bombay asking for votes. And in Maharashtra, you have to ask for votes in whose name? Shivaji. He said Shivaji Maharaj was so great that in order to plunder Aurangzeb's treasury, he attacked Surat. Where was Aurangzeb's treasury? In Surat or Delhi? Delhi. So if he meets you, sometimes tell him, he doesn't listen to others, but still we should try to tell truth to others. So he had plundered Surat. But please note that when he had plundered Surat, that he had given the instructions to his army. All kings were plundering neighboring areas. Right, wrong? Right, wrong? Right. All kings were plundering neighbors' areas, and all armies were not only bringing wealth, they were also bringing women from outside. Right, wrong? Correct? Now, just be clear that it is not that only Hindu kings did it or Muslim kings. All armies anywhere universally in the world. Wealth and women, these were the two objects of plunder. So Shivaji Maharaj told his army that you are going to Surat to plunder, but be careful that whenever you are plundering and in your hands, if some book, holy book of other religion comes to you, don't disrespect it. With full amount of honor, give it to the person of that religion. So this is where the king stood. I can go on and on, but basic point is that kings were doing this for the sake of expansion of their territories. So today, the way history has been taught here, taught by parallel streams. Initially, this was not there in the schools. Now it is being brought into the school. But I hope you can understand what is the parallel streams. Those who meet daily, regularly in the shakhas, Namaste, Sadavastale, Vasramume, and what type of stories they tell. Oh, evil Muslim kings, they plundered, they tortured Hindu women, they did this and that. So that is a diet on which those people are brought up with such a type of history. Now anyway, this communalism issue, how does it come to India? Communalism issue comes to India. So first point I make clear that communalism is not a question of era of kingdoms. It begins in the colonial period. Now before I go to colonial period, in colonial period I'll need lot of your help if you don't mind. Colonial period, my first simple question is this. When did we get our independence? Too simple a question, huh? 1947. You agree? Thank you very much. Why I ask this question, you know, I am getting quite confused from last year or two because one very big actress rather, she said we got independence in 2014. Since that time I am very confused and I keep asking everybody, so what is slavery of the country? What is slavery of the country? Our Prime Minister in this last speech from Red Fort, he said we were slave from 1200 years. Now I was again, I keep getting shocked. That's why my BP always is on the higher side. So I get shocked. We were slaves from 1200 years. What is slavery? Slavery of the country, two criteria. One, our wealth is plundered out. Now tell me, Babur, Akbar, Aurangzeb, the kings whom they want us to hate, the kings who they want us to hate, did they take away the wealth from here? No. They lived here, yes. Died here, and of course exploited and had a luxurious life like most of the kings. Second thing, when the instruction of the rulers, they are coming from outside. So where were the instructions of this Muslim king coming? Kabul, Kandahar, Makkah, Medina are from nowhere? Nowhere. They were living here, dying here, ruling on their own. And what happened during the British period? So number one, why did British come here? They did not come here for picnic, I am clear of that. Why did they come here? Business, trade. Did they stop at trade? After trade, what they did? They ruled the country. And with ruling, what did they do? They took away our wealth. They plundered our wealth. And this plundering of wealth, brilliantly explained in that book by Shashi Tharoor, The Dark Era of Empire. Excellent. It is not only, we think only that they took our Kohinoor diamond. Kohinoor diamond is insignificant to the type of wealth which they took away. Now, here how communalism comes in. Now, they are ruling here. They are plundering our wealth. So they have to bring some changes which suit them, which also are in tune with the time. So we build up the picture. They have to take away the wealth, for example, from Hyderabad to London. So from Hyderabad to, first where will they take away the things to? Bombay? Bombay is the nearest port, or there is some other port? Anyway, let's take Bombay. Let's go to Bombay. So how was things being transported before the British came? Which is that poor bullock cart. So in place of bullock cart, they brought railways. Fast transport, number one. Number two, British Viceroy is sitting in Calcutta. He has to send letters to his officers. Who were carrying letters before the British came? Pigeons. Excellent. But pigeons, pigeons were carrying the letters, but somehow they were not carrying any letters except love letters. So pigeons don't depend on pigeons. They were horse riders also, but they said pigeons are not going to carry our letters. Horse riders are very slow. So they brought in telephone, telegraph, postal system. So first was rail, now comes in mail. Now third is they bring in modern education. Good job, modern education. And modern education, along with modern education comes in modern judiciary. And where do people land up where the judiciary gives the punishment? Jail, so simple. So what are the three changes? Rail, mail and jail. Okay. Now let me focus a bit on education. Education was the most transforming thing during colonial period. It not only built a new middle class, but it also was taken to Dalits and women. Earlier it was forbidden for Dalits and women to have education. Now Jyotirao Phule comes in. He starts schools for Dalits, and his wife Savitribai Phule opens the schools for girls. Good or bad? Good. And on what ground she was opposed? She was opposed on the ground that you are doing something against our religion. Can you believe it? That you are opening school for girls? This is against our religion. And poor women, she and her colleague Fatima Sheikh, when they were going to school, they were carrying extra clothes with them. Please note, they were carrying extra clothes. Why? Did they also had the habit of changing clothes frequently like our Prime Minister? Then why they were carrying extra clothes? Mudslinging. People were saying, hey, you are doing against our religion. Here is cow dung, here is mud and stones. That's why they had to change their clothes, they had to carry. So these 5 changes make the modern India. What? 1, railway. Number 2, communication. Third, this new judiciary, education. And then education to Dalits, education to women. Please remember, this will come back. The foundation of communalism comes in from the people who are opposing these changes. Now, who are supporting these changes? Now, from these changes emerge 3 new classes. Class, in this hall, I don't have to explain. Class is the type of people who do similar type of work. In this hall, at least I don't have to explain. Others I have to explain clearly. Okay. So 3 new classes emerge. Number 1, businessman, industrialist, Tata, Birla, Bajaj, Singhania, Dalmia. Working class. And number 3, modern educated classes. In modern educated classes, add Dalits and women also. These are the 3 classes which we call rising classes. What happens to the old rulers? Raja, Nawab, Zamidar, Jagirdar. They don't disappear. This is not France. where the new bourgeois revolution, industrialist class, it wipes away the old feudal society. So the new classes come up, old classes continue, old rulers come in. And here, if you want to understand secularism, this is the key. This is the key. From the rising group come three type of organizations. From the declining rulers again come three type of organizations, and I will request you to concentrate on that pattern of names. Don't ask me, William Shakespeare says what is in the name. Don't ask me that. Just focus on the names. So from the rising groups, there are three type of organizations. From the declining groups, there are three type of organizations. Try to see the name. So from from the rising group, the first person, try to name the organizations. I'll appreciate your help. First person is Shahid-e-Azam Bhagat Singh. What is the name of the organization? HSRA. Full form, Hindustan Socialist Republican Association. Very good. Now second is Bhimrao Babasaheb Ambedkar. Forms many organizations and it culminates in an organization called Republican Party of India. And the third group which comes up, which leads the national movement, instead of one name, I am taking four names. Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Annie Besant, Sardar Baldev Singh, and Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Name of the organization? Congress. Why you are so miser? Take the full name. Indian National Congress. I am not seeking vote for that party. Don't worry about that. Giving vote is your choice. What you do in 2024 is your choice. I'll leave it to that. But Indian National Congress. So have you noticed the name? Hindustan Socialist Republican Association, Republican Party of India, Indian National Congress. Now here, from the landlords, Rajas, Nawabs, initially they come together to form an organization called United India Patriotic Association. And these are equal and opposite processes. Now Hindu communalists these days are trying to say, oh, Muslims started it first. But these are simultaneous processes. Like for United India Patriotic Association, on one side there is Raja Shiv Prasad of Kashi, other side there was Nawab of Dhaka. At the same time there was Sir Syed Ahmad. And United India Patriotic Association, British succeeded in splitting it. First into Muslim League and then into another organization. I'll come to that. So three organizations we saw here. See the pattern of names? Now here, from this group, initially only Raja, Nawab, Zamindar, Jagirdars are there. Later on, some educated people, elite people join them. And three names again here I prefer. One is Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Name of the party? Muslim League, very good. Then there is a second person who, of course, you can guess, who was there in Andaman jails. He apologized repeatedly. He was released. He was given a pension of rupees 60 and he pledged his loyalty to the British. What was his name? Savarkar. What party Savarkar joined after 1937? Hindu Mahasabha. Muslim League. Hindu Mahasabha. Muslim League talked about Muslim nation. Hindu Mahasabha talked of Hindu nation. And based on this Hindu nation came up another organization in 1925. Mocking that organization, laughing at that organization, describing that organization, very easy. But confronting that organization, extremely difficult. Can you guess the name? Earlier they were wearing half pants. Now they are promoted to full pants. What's the name? RSS, Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh. Okay. So, can you make the difference? Here, there is all the people. Whole nation is there. Here, there is only Hindu or a Muslim. Politics under the cover of religion. And they come from Nawabs and Rajas. Both. Same. There is no difference. Actually, I call them thick as thieves. And their values. What is the difference between values of these? Values of these. For that, I'll present to you from this side Bhimrao Babasaheb Ambedkar. I can take anybody, but just to understand, because India is not France, so here liberty I associate more with Bhagat Singh. Liberty I associate with Bhagat Singh. Equality I associate more with Ambedkar. and fraternity I associate with Gandhi. That's my way of understanding. I'm not a social scientist, but still I try to dabble into my own way of understanding it. So these are the three values from this side. So how do I see the difference? From this side, I pick up Ambedkar. From this side, I pick up K. Sudarshan. Now, of course, even Prime Minister's advisor, what is his name, that Vivek Devray? He himself is saying, I throw away this constitution, but I am an old-fashioned person, so I am sticking to K. Sudarshan, about whom I wrote an article which is now not available even with me. So, K. Sudarshan, and what are the difference? Ambedkar, for social equality, tries to have agitations like Kalaram Temple. That you call we Dalits as Hindus, permit us to come to temples? Not allowed. You call Dalits as Hindus, we are also human beings. Animals are drinking water from the ponds, permit us also? Not allowed. And then he burns a book. What is that book? What he must have thought while burning Manusmriti? While burning Manusmriti, he must have thought, Manusmriti gives the provisions of slavery for Shudras and women. Manusmriti gives the provision of slavery from Shudras and women. I do not accept it. So I am getting this book burned. Believe me, you. Any fundamentalism, Christian fundamentalism, Islamic fundamentalism, Buddhist fundamentalism in Sri Lanka and Myanmar. Don't be under confusion that there is no fundamentalism in the name of Buddhism. Buddhism also equal amount of fundamental. And every fundamentalism believes in secondary status, secondary hierarchy for workers, Dalits in another way, and women. I'll come to that. There are not too many women in the hall, but still I will explain that their primary agenda is to subjugate the rights of Dalits, workers, women, Adivasi, etc. That is the basic point. So Ambedkar here burns the Manusmriti. Same Ambedkar goes on to become the chief architect of India's constitution, which is now under big threat unless you are able to defeat this party in 2024. It is under real threat. Believe me, you, because the closest advisor of Prime Minister is talking about it openly without any shame. So here is Ambedkar. What is he doing? Burning Manusmriti and building up Indian constitution. And here earlier in 2000, I built this formulation in my mind. We stuck to this, and that formulation was about K. Sudarshan. Have you heard the name of K. Sudarshan? RSS, you have heard. Good. Some have not heard, no? Don't worry. If you have not heard such name, that's also okay. Okay. So K. Sudarshan, what does he do? He becomes Sarasang Chalak, the chief supremo of RSS, and he says, Indian constitution based on Western values. Videshi mulyon pe bana hai. Throw it away and bring a constitution based on Indian holy books. Indian holy books. Which is that Indian holy book which gives the values of society? Manu Smriti. But before I go to this comparison of Ambedkar and K. Sudarshan, K. Sudarshan is right at one way. He says, na, ये भारतीय संविधान, थोड़ा सा हिंदी, भारतीय संविधान विदेशी मूल्यों पे बना है, अपनी देशी किताब ले आओ. I want to ask you, these values of liberty, equality, fraternity, they belong to the West or to the whole humanity? Whole humanity. But he's saying they are based on the Western values. But he is a bit confused actually. He was saying something else. I realized that. वो हिंदी में बोलता हूँ कि एक देशी विदेशी होता है कुछ, वो कुछ शाम को लेते हैं ना कुछ लोग, हाँ वो होता है. बाकी everything as far as science and our values are concerned, they are all universal. But of course, poor fellow, he got confused and he said, ये विदेशी है, इसको फेंक दो वगैरह वगैरह. So friends, this is where communalism comes in. Now, British, in order to rule this country, had already implemented policy of divide and rule. Divide and rule. And after 1857, you must be knowing Mangal Pandey on one side, Bahadur Shah Zafar, Begum Hazrat Mahal, Jhansi Ki Rani, Hindu Muslims fighting against British, British throne got shaken, and then British intensifying their policy of divide and rule. And what do they select for divide and rule? Religion. What are the major dividing points? Hindus, Muslims. Actually, Hindus and Muslims have been closely integrated into each other. Our culture, religious traditions, you see everything, clothes. See, culture is not a static entity. Culture is like a flowing river. There is nothing like native and foreign. I ask a simple question. Of course, Christians, poor fellows, 2.3%, so we don't discuss them, but they are also under attack. But I also, even Christians have contributed some small thing which all of us probably follow. Hey, hello, do we celebrate birthdays? And what do we do on that day? Good. Just remember from where it comes. Anyway, and my own experience, this intermixing. Let's talk of food, our closest thing to our heart, food. So I give my own example. Now, I think 5, 6 years ago, I had the chance of living in this very city for 6 to 8 months. And that time I was fond of something, my weight also went up. Can you guess what was that? Biryani. And from where did biryani came? Biryani had come from Iran. It came from Iran. We added more spices, made it more tasty, and called it biryani. No problem. Similarly, you can talk of jalebi, gulab jamun, and all mouth-watering sweets coming from West. Indian mangoes going to all over the world. So this is a interaction, cultural interaction. In the field of music, you see Hindi film music. I don't know how much you know, but my generation, there was a BBC survey of Hindi film bhajans, top 10 Hindi film bhajans, and what they found out, out of those 10 bhajans, 7 of them were written by Sahir Ludhianvi and Shakil Badayuni. 6 of them were sung by Muhammad Rafi, and 7 of them were composed by Naushad Ali. One of the best example I give you, my favorite song was that Man Tarpat Hari Darshan Ko Aaj. Of course, this is my weakness. Hindi, old classic films and classic film song, my main outlet. That day again I was seeing film Baiju Bawra, and when having tears in the eyes, I heard this film Baiju Bawra, Man Tarpat Hari Darshan Ko Aaj, written by Shakil Badayuni, sung by Muhammad Rafi, composed by Naushad Ali. This is my India, where these boundaries don't matter. And similarly, when I see the Bhakti tradition saints, Hindus also follow them, Muslims also follow them. You see Dargah, Ajmer Dargah, all Dargahs you see, Hindus also going, Muslims also going. Of course, they have changed their character and all that. So Indian culture is a mixed culture. So here, 3 versions of history came in. One is where Muslims are seen as aliens, and Muslim communal historiography presents Hindus as weak rulers, so Muslims were ruling. Believe me, in Pakistani textbooks, Hindus are so much demonized that I read one story by Veer Sanghvi that one Indian diplomat had gone to see his Pakistani counterpart. They were friends. And that Pakistani diplomat's friend's daughter was a young girl studying in a school. So when he introduced this Indian diplomat to her daughter, he said, uncle is from India, he is a Hindu, he has come to see me, he is a good friend of mine. Girl, rather than bothering that he is a friend of her father, she started abusing Hindus' textbooks. This is what our textbooks are doing, because of which that Trapta Tyagi, it is not a surprise. Only we are coming to know it. When we teach these things to our children, hatred is a natural corollary of that, and this hatred seeps in like that. Anyway, so this, on one side, the national streams, my 3 representatives, Bhagat Singh, Ambedkar, Gandhi, they talked of secularism. Secularism is in every pore of Bhagat Singh, Gandhi, Ambedkar. And communalism is the central point for Muslim League, Hindu Mahasabha, and RSS. And then, of course, I will say Muslim League, I told you, came up in particular circumstances when their power is declining. Hindu Mahasabha came up again because of Hindu Rajas. Now, most interesting is that all these 3 formations, now you can understand my sign language. What are these 3? Muslim League, Hindu Mahasabha, RSS. They did not contribute anything to the formation of modern India. kept aloof from freedom movement, kept criticizing freedom movement. Now they say, hey, what did Gandhi do for Bhagat Singh? I want to ask them, what did you do? What did you do when he was being hung? Gandhi wrote 2 letters to Lord Irwin. Gandhi passed a resolution in 1931 Karachi Congress that what you have done to Bhagat Singh is wrong. So they are spreading, they will spread, hey, these Bhagat Singh, Ambedkar and Gandhi, lot of differences. Excellent, no problem. But what is the problem? Big leaders are going to have differences. India is a vast country. Gandhi's primary goal was to free from colonial power. Ambedkar was focusing more on Dalits' rights. Both are right. So some compromise in the national movement have to be there. But this is what they build up their narrative on to defame the national movement. While Gandhi, then Netaji Bose and Gandhi. Gandhi did lot of injustice to Subhash Chandra Bose. Arey Baba, what were you doing when Subhash Chandra Bose was raising Indian National Army and fighting against British? You were supporting British. Actually, you were fighting against Subhash Chandra Bose. And what did Subhash Chandra Bose talk about Mahatma Gandhi? He said, he is father of the nation. Who said that? Subhash Chandra Bose. And whom did Subhash Chandra Bose write his first letter to, first address while forming Azad Hind Fauj? He addresses it to Mahatma Gandhi. He says, I seek your blessings, father of the nation. That is Subhash Chandra Bose. And in 1945, there is a meeting of Subhash Chandra Bose and Gandhi. I read about it, so I'll tell you. Both of them, Gandhi says, your path is different. I don't agree with you. But if your path wins us the freedom, I will be the first person to congratulate you. This is what those people say. And here they are now trying to say, hey, this Gandhi did injustice to Bhagat Singh, injustice to this. And then Sardar Patel, Nehru. Sardar Patel should have become the first Prime Minister of the country. Nehru, what is this? Nehru has ruined the thing. I'll come to Nehru in a bit later. But Sardar Patel writes in a letter. Nehru forms the cabinet. He writes a letter to Sardar Patel. Sardar Patel was elder to him in age by 15 years. So he said, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, I am inviting you to join my cabinet. And Sardar Patel writes a sort of a affectionate, angry letter. Affectionate, angry letter. Saying, what is this you are inviting me formally? You know that I am always with you. Till my last breath, I will be supporting you. You are my younger brother and you are my leader. Because both of us have learned our politics sitting on the feet of that great teacher called Mahatma Gandhi. So this was the relation. Today they are trying to spread. Anyway, coming back to RSS. Let's not leave RSS. At least understand. If you can't fight, at least understand it. How does RSS comes in? Now, society is changing. And Gandhi comes into the picture and he converts the anti-colonial struggle into a mass movement. Please note, India's mass movement has been the greatest ever mass movement in the world. With all negative points of Mahatma Gandhi keeping aside, it is the greatest ever mass movement in the world. Now, 1920, average people come into the movement. And in 1920s also, Maharashtra, Vidarbha area, Vidarbha, you know, Nagpur? Nagpur, where the head office of that organization is there. How? Khaki shorts? Okay. Sorry, brown pants now. I'm an old man getting a lot of problems with my brain. Anyway, so in Nagpur area, Dalits launched a movement against landlords and priests. If you want to learn a word of the feudal society, foundation of the feudal society is alliance between landlord and the priest. Try to learn a word from me if you want. Sorry for that. And there is a word in our Maharashtra called Shetji Bhatji. Lovely word. Shetji means landlord. Bhatji means priest. So the movement was launched against landlords and priests called non-Brahmin movement. So on one side, average people are coming into the politics. So far, Brahminical idea is that only elite are there for politics. What is this average people, workers, women and Dalits, they are coming into the social movement. And on the top of it, Dalits are struggling for their rights. They are talking against the power of landlords and we the Brahmins. So that time, 5 Chitta Pavan Brahmins. Sorry, this Sanskrit word Chitta Pavan, you know what is Chitta Pavan? Chitta Pavan means those whose heart is 24 karat pure. Impurity is not allowed. So they form this organization called Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh. And Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, believe me friends, is very simple to follow. That's why they are rising. That's why our comrades have a problem. With comrades, what is the problem? You want to come to our party. Have you read Communist Manifesto? Have you read 3 volumes of Capital? 4 volumes of Surplus Value? 26 volumes of Lenin's collected works? And so many volumes of Stalin's work? After that you come and see us. RSS, no problem. Come. We are a Hindu nation from times immemorial. Excellent. Now times immemorial, what were we earlier? Hunter, food gatherer? I don't want to go before hunter and food gatherer because Darwin's theory is being eliminated from the books. So that I'm not saying. Hunter, food gatherers? Can we call that as a nation? Nation state is a modern concept. 300-400 years old. And here what is a claim? And claim is successfully instilled by regularly indoctrinating. We are a Hindu nation from times immemorial. Hindu word comes into existence in 8th century as a geographical category. Hindu word becomes a religious category 14th, 15th, 16th century, more in 19th century. But claim, constructed claim. We are a Hindu nation from times immemorial. Muslims and Christians are aliens. Not coming from other planets because moon they landed recently, so all the credit is being taken. But Muslims and Christians, foreigners. Now tell me friends, do religions have nationality? Religions don't have nationality. Religions are universal. Can Hindus be there in America, Japan? What is the major religion of Thailand? Buddhism. Religions don't have this sort of thing, but their indoctrination module, sorry to say you, is very simple. We are a Hindu nation from times immemorial. Muslims and Christians, they are foreigners. So we have to create a Hindu nation based on ancient principles. Which book? Manusmriti. So this ideology stands on 2 feet. 2 feet, 1 foot is against religious minorities, Muslims and Christian. Other foot is to glorify the slavery of women and Dalits. Though women are not too many in the hall, still I'll give a small exercise showing the place of women in fundamentalist ideologies. Fundamental Taliban, you know what they do with women? And Sinhala, I'm going to study more, I'll tell you later that. So these ideologies, if you want to understand, try to understand, have a bit of a grammar test. What is the full form of RSS? Okay, this is masculine gender or feminine gender? Masculine gender. So women cannot be there. RSS is one of the few exclusively male organizations in the world. Muslim League did not have women members. Hindu Mahasabha did not have women members. RSS by principle does not have women members. But how to make use of women's services? We have to use everybody. So there is another organization for women. Does anybody know the name of that organization? Rashtra Sevika Samiti. Men's organization, Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh. Women's organization, Rashtra Sevika Samiti. What is missing? What is missing? What is Swayam? My being. According to every male-dominated patriarchal ideology, Swayam, being of women, is supposed to be in the pocket of man. That's why probably men's shirts have pockets. That's my theory, but it has not been accepted sociologically. Okay, fine. So, this now what is their agenda? Fortunately, I am not recognized as a social scientist, otherwise I had coined a word called Nehru-Ambedkar Revolution. What does it mean? That after independence, on one hand, we had the constitution given by Ambedkar, and we had the industrial policies given by Nehru. Right? Nehru's policies. How do I summarize that? Constitution, liberty, equality, fraternity, justice, one side. How do I summarize Nehru? In his own words, while inaugurating Bhakhara Nangal Dam. Hirakud Dam came later, Nagarjun Sagar Dam came later, right? That time, I as a child remember, we did not have adequate food grains. We used to eat red wheat, coming under PL 480 from America, where the cattle also don't we eat that, so it is sent to us and we eat. So Nehru there, while inaugurating the Bhakhara Nangal Dam, says, these dams, and in bracket I add, these dams, these public sector enterprises, these scientific institutions which will lead to ISRO and Chandrayaan 3, these Bhabha Atomic Research Center, these IITs, these are the temples of modern India. Everything summarized? So what is happening? You develop these industries, you develop these educational institutions, Dalits come up in society, women come up in society, overall our all indices start building up till 1980. Then in 1980, role reversal. In 1980, decade of 1980 comes another person whom I summarize as Rath Yatri. Can you guess? Advani, very correct. His party has forgotten him, but you remember it. Thank you. He will thank you so much time. Oh, he said, what is this Nehru's definition of temples? Universities, scientific establishment, industries. This is useless definition. Our temples are hidden under the mosque. Break the mosque, build the temple, country will flourish. So already 1 year old plan is being made for inauguration of Ram temple. Once inauguration of Ram temple has taken up, just lightly I will say, and that day when Ram temple was inaugurated, I don't know how many of you were sitting in front of TV, but that day I was a perfect idiot, sitting in front of TV all the day. Why? Because you know the dresses which were being changed every 4 hours. The religious dresses being changed every 4 hours. Fascinating. I could not get up from the TV and the whole day was lost. I couldn't write anything on that day. Fine. So here, the temple, the goals of country are changed. Temples, search for them under the mosque. But here I will also add, when Ram temple was being, work was going on for Ram temple, underneath they did not find any Ram temple. They found a Buddha Vihar. Register here. What is the claim? Lord Ram was born precisely at the spot where the mosque is built. Court said, we don't believe that. Lord Ram, where was he born? I don't know how Advani came to see that, but we don't approve of that. Now the second issue which I said I was very disturbed about was that cow issue. गऊ हमारी माता है, मुसलमान उसको खाता है, इसलिए उसका राम नाम नहीं, पर मुस्लिम्स का राम नाम सत्य नहीं हो सकता, कुछ और होगा नहीं. My language, my vocabulary is very poor. So they started the whole campaign for cow. Culmination of that we recently saw in Noon. I was very disturbed again that BJP government with that which changed the book, no? Rana Pratap. They also had set up a Goshala, means cow shelter. In Hingonia cow shelter, hundreds of cows died because of health, because of being drenched in cow dung, etc., etc. I got very worried because they were at the same time they were saying in Kerala, beef no problem, Goa, beef no problem, Northeast, no problem, culture. But whole of the cow belt, if you touch the cow, we will not let you live. So then I went to the past, Vedic history, Professor D.N. Jha, Dietary Habits of Ancient India, and above all, Swami Vivekananda book, Lectures from Chicago to Almora, printed by Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So there Swamiji tells us that in Vedic period, beef was eaten. Nobody can be a good Brahmin without eating beef on particular occasions. So I got all this confused. What is this Swamiji saying and what is this great Hindu organization saying? But then my problem got resolved because there are some resolutions also coming now. How did it got resolved? So, I was reading a book about, that Prime Minister who was also writing poetry? Vajpayee, Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So I was reading his biography called Haar Nahi Manunga, written by Vijay Trivedi, page 236. There, Trivedi writes that once Atalji had gone to America for lecture tour. After one of the lectures, Atalji was enjoying his food. He was enjoying his food, so his neighbor tapped him on the shoulder. Neighbor said, "Hello, Atalji, what you are eating? What you are eating is beef." Atalji smiled aloud and he said, "It is beef, na, but it is not of Indian cow, it is of American cow." So it became clear to me. So I understood. This has nothing to do with the real respect for cow. And unfortunately, in whole of Mewat area, Muslims were totally dependent on cow for their livelihood. Milk, other products they were selling. Now they are all deprived. They can't keep cows. They can't rear cows. Muslims of Mewat, they have a mixed culture. And cow is one of the most revered thing for them. But now they can't do their job. Utter poverty. Then they come up with the issue of this love jihad. Love jihad. Everything is a jihad. Corona comes, Corona jihad. So if Donald Trump, he's in jail or out, I don't know. He's out. Yes. So Donald Trump comes. So our Prime Minister welcomes him. Hey, namaste Trump. Then Donald Trump says, Viveka Mundan, something word he utters, and then 2 lakh people, Corona does not spread. But they came to know that some 1,500 people are there in Tablighi Jamaat meeting. They said, Corona came from here. They were making Corona bomb. This is Corona jihad. Then some of the anchor of that black and white, no? I don't know, he made some 15 types of jihad. If Muslim students come top in the UPSC exam, this is UPSC jihad. They build some house, this is land jihad. So all that thing they started saying. And then love jihad. Who will tell them that love doesn't know boundaries? Only those who have heart know this. Others can't know this. Only those who have hearts, they know that love doesn't know any boundary. But of course for them, love jihad is another pretext. So if some Muslim man does violence against live-in partner, they will highlight it. But this violence is a sign of our patriarchal, dirty society. It has nothing to do with religion. Even a Hindu person have done it against their live-in partner. But this, how media has come under control. Now in sum and substance, friends, today where are we standing? Where we standing as far as secularism is concerned today? This whole RSS business went on, and today there are lakhs of Swayam Sevaks totally dedicated to that party. Thousands and thousands of Pracharaks. Pracharaks is their highest degree, working for them. Then they have floated many organizations, Vishwa Hindu Parishad, Vanvasi Kalyan Ashram, Bajrang Dal. See, the division of labor. Some people sit there, look very gentle and humane, looking as such a nice person. That is RSS. Then those people who come to politics, that is BJP. Then those who talk about organizing religious festivals and trying to say Hinduism, the greatest religion, that is VHP. Then you go to Adivasis and tell them, hey, you are also Hindus, come back, come and worship Lord Ram. Because you are Hanumans. We are Rams, you are Hanuman. So what you have to do? Duty is clear. We will worship Lakshmi Saraswati Durga. You worship Shabari. Clear? And for Dalits, they will say, what is this caste system? No problem, it is a division. You do your job, we do our job, and things will go on well. So today, country is not only in the grip of a political power. It is a total attack on the values of Indian Constitution. Values which are there for liberty, equality, fraternity and justice. So friends, in the last I will only say whole media, social media, word of mouth propaganda, fake news, it has totally dominated people's mind. What Chomsky called manufacturing consent done by the state has been done by a organization in the real form, which I call social common sense. So finally, describing, as I said, describing is easy, countering is difficult. But unless we counter, democracy has no future. Three-level attack. Number one, during last 9 years, this political party has proliferated double. RSS branches have doubled, tripled, or multiplied many times. The pollution of people's mind gone terribly wrong, haywire. Social media, IT cell, all this thing has gone. So first is that political power has to change. That is up to you. Anybody who supports such a politics, I think, is against the spirit of India, against the idea of India. Idea of India resides in its pluralism, diversity, and mixed culture. The idea of India resides in Indian Constitution. So first is that at politically we have to see that all those who are opportunists, who support such formations, no more remain in the power centers. And those who come to power center, our job does not end. Our job becomes stronger. We have to keep them on the track of secular values. This is where this thing has come. And second thing is that our social movements. I many a times try to see the positive aspect of things also, and I see that today also people believing in secular values are much more than those who are communal. Honestly, I believe. What is the problem? Problem is that we are fragmented. While communalism is a united like the sticks together, we are all fragmented. So we have to learn to work shoulder to shoulder. All the women, all the movement of workers, Dalits, women, Adivasis, we have all to see that we lend support to each other. Draw our strength from them so that we march separately, but strike together. Strike together at the heart of fascist fundamentalist politics. And third, friends, which I think is something which we need to adopt, is that we need to connect to communities on the basis of promotion of ideas. We have great scholars like Romila Thopar, Irfan Habib, Harvans Mukhia, and Bipin Chandra. You can infinite number. Question is, we have to reach this to the masses. We have to act as bridges to take these values to the people. And how do we do it? We have centers like this. We have so many community centers, different places. What is needed is that each of us, problem is not that others should do. Problem is that what I can do in my limited capacity as a student, as a job person, as a person committed to social movement. All of us today have to pledge that we will spend some part of our energy in promoting secular values. And how do we do that? How do we do that? Earlier, I don't know, there is a word in Hindi called Nukkad Natak, corner. Excellent, brilliant culture. If we can revive that, topmost. Then revolutionary songs, progressive songs, communal harmony songs. Third is that, what I am happy to say, that there are multiple good films and documentaries which we can show to the community. And in that, name of Anand Patwardhan ranks topmost. His films, Father, Son and the Holy War, Ram Ke Naam, In the Name of God, and his latest series on this Vivek, Reason. And then, of course, there are some videos also. I will send the list to our friend. And I urgent in that slightly, of course, I must say, I have also contributed a bit by making some of the videos which make this politics very clear. Question is that weekly, fortnightly, once a month, we have to sit with 15 people, 20 people, 30 people, 40 people and try to show these videos, films and documentaries which promote the values of idea of India. And unless we work as these three levels, even if we win politically in 2024, the battle will remain incomplete because they have won over the mind of the people. At societal level, that is a dominant discourse. All TV media, I have stopped seeing TV because everything is all hate, hate and hate. And there are crores of WhatsApp groups they have floated. Can we each of us float one WhatsApp group to promote these things? At least make some 100 members, 200 members, and each of us picks up one 3-minute clip, 5-minute clip, one video, other video, daily forward, make 2 or 3 forwards to our friends. They will see something and change their ideas. So friends, the main issue is that today we have to pledge ourselves. What I am going to do to counter this politics of hate, politics of sectarianism, politics which is against the very idea of India. Thank you very much.